How did one funny speech at his work dinner turn into papers being handed to me in a bright lobby with his coworkers watching? Why did my husband look calm while I shook, like the whole room already knew the ending before I did? My name is Idalia Knox, and I always believed I knew what a good life looked like. I worked as a patient accounts clerk at a dental clinic. I paid bills on time. I kept the fridge full. I scheduled the kids' dentist visits before anyone else even remembered. So when people said I was too hard on my husband, I told myself they did not understand pressure. They did not understand what it meant to hold a family together. Evan Mercer was my husband. He was 36, and he worked in IT operations at a biotech company. He was good at fixing things. He stayed calm when other people panicked. He had moved up at work without a finished degree. He had certificates and years of experience. I used to say I admired him for that. But over time, I started to hear another voice in my head. It told me I had settled. It told me I had to push him so I did not look small next to him or next to anyone. That morning began in our kitchen. The kids were at the table with cereal. Owen was 8 and Nora was 5. Evan stood by the counter, packing lunches. He asked why I always corrected him in front of them. He said it made him feel like a child. I answered like I was the reasonable one. I said I was only helping. I said I wanted the kids to hear proper words, not sloppy ones. I also said he was being too sensitive. He looked at me for a moment, then he looked away. I noticed his phone on the counter. A soft alarm went off, not loud, like a reminder. I glanced down and saw the title. It said, Meeting, Personal. I acted like I did not care. I told myself he was finally learning to plan things instead of drifting. Still, I watched his face. He turned the alarm off and slipped the phone into his pocket. He did not explain it. That silence annoyed me more than any answer. When he left for work, I checked the fridge door out of habit. I like to control small things, because small things made me feel safe. There was a calendar page held by a magnet. Evan had written a reminder on it in neat letters. It said, downtown 10:40 a.m. No details, just that. I smiled to myself like it was nothing, but a tight feeling sat in my chest. I told myself it was probably a work thing, or maybe a car appointment. I also told myself that even if it was personal, he would never dare do anything wrong. Evan was not bold like that. Evan followed rules. That was one of his problems, in my opinion. At the clinic, I slipped into my normal face. I greeted patients. I checked insurance. I balanced payments. My job was ordinary, but I liked that it made me look responsible. Around mid-morning, my phone buzzed in my pocket. I did not pull it out right away. I waited until I was in the break room because I liked secrets. The message was from Logan Pierce. Logan was 35 and he worked in sales. He visited clinics like ours to pitch supplies. He wore clean shoes and he spoke like he knew what he wanted. When he first started flirting, I told myself it was harmless. I told myself a little attention did not hurt anyone. Then it became a habit. He wrote that he liked how sharp I was. He said I was wasted on a man who needed me to explain things to him. I felt a small rush reading it, like someone had finally noticed the real me. I replied fast. I told him he was being dramatic. I told him I had a husband and children, like that made me noble. But I also asked what time he would be near the clinic again. I did not call it cheating in my mind. I called it breathing. I called it being seen. By lunchtime, my sister Renee texted me. She was 32 and she never liked Evan much, but she also hated mess. She asked how things were at home. I answered that Evan was moody and proud. I said he acted like the world owed him. I did not mention Logan. I did not mention the way I hid my phone when Evan walked into a room. I told myself I was protecting my privacy. I also told myself Evan did not deserve full truth if he was not improving. After work, I stopped at the supermarket. I liked shopping alone because nobody questioned what I bought. In the produce aisle, I saw a woman I recognized from photos Evan had shown me. Her name was Dr. Priya Shah. She was one of Evan's successful colleagues. She had a calm face, and she looked tired, like someone who carried heavy work. She smiled at me politely and asked how Evan was doing. I could have been kind. I could have said he was doing well. Instead, I felt a sharp need to shape the story first. I said he was fine, but he always felt nervous around real academics. I hinted that he had not even finished school. I said it like it was a cute joke, like a secret that made him less serious. I expected her to laugh. I wanted her to join me, so I did not feel like the only one looking down on him. Her smile changed. It did not disappear, but it became smaller. She said Evan worked very hard and he was respected. She said it in a flat way, like she wanted to end the talk. Then she wished me a good evening and walked away. I stood there with my cart and felt a sting. Part of me wanted to chase her and fix it. Another part of me got angry at her for not playing along. I told myself she was judging me. I told myself she thought she was better than me. I pushed my cart forward and pretended I did not care. I bought what I needed. I kept my face smooth. At home, the kids ran to me. Nora asked if we could have pancakes for dinner. Owen asked if Dad would be late again. Evan came in soon after, quiet and polite. He asked how my day was. I said it was long. He asked what I did after work. I said I went straight to the supermarket. I did not mention Priya. I did not mention how I had used him as a joke to feel tall. After the kids went to bed, Evan stood in the hallway and looked at the calendar on the fridge. He did not say anything. He just stared at it for a second, like he was checking a plan in his head. Then he walked away. I went to our bedroom and opened my phone. I saw Logan's message again. I read it twice. I told myself Evan's world did not understand me. I told myself I deserved someone who made me feel important. I also told myself Evan pushed me there because he had no degree and still acted proud. Then I heard Evan in the other room. A drawer made a small clicking sound like a lock. I paused with my phone in my hand and listened. The house was quiet after that. The quiet felt heavy, like something was starting and I was not invited. The next day, I woke up with a strange energy in my body, like I had to win something I could not name. Evan was already dressed. He stood in the kitchen and rinsed his mug. He did not look at me in the warm way he used to. He asked if I slept well. I said I did. He asked if we could talk later. I said sure, but my tone made it sound like a favor. I watched him pack the kids' snacks again. Owen asked if Dad could come to school pickup. Evan said he would try. Nora asked if we could all go to the park this weekend. I said yes fast, like a promise could erase tension. Evan did not correct me. He just nodded once like he was saving his words. At work, I did not even wait an hour before I checked my phone. Logan had sent another message. He asked if I was still trapped in that teacher-student marriage. I laughed at the screen. I told myself it was just a joke. I told myself Evan was the one who made me feel like a strict teacher, always dragging him forward. So if Logan said it out loud, it was not my fault. It was like he simply noticed the truth. In the break room, I typed back. I told Logan he was bold. I told him he did not understand my life. I also told him I liked how direct he was. I kept my phone low, even though nobody was behind me. I did it because hiding made me feel powerful. I saw a missed call from an unknown number on my call log from the night before. It had no name, just a blank line. For a second, I thought it was spam. Then I thought of Evan's calendar and the locked drawer. I stared at the missed call longer than I should have. I told myself it was nothing. I told myself that if Evan had secrets, they were probably boring, like work training or taxes. Still, my stomach stayed tight. Later, Evan called me during my shift. He asked if I had a minute. I stepped into the hallway. He asked why my phone location showed the gym late last night. He said it in a calm way, not accusing. That calm made me feel cornered. I answered fast. I said I was trying to get healthier. I said I did not want to be tired all the time. I asked why he was tracking me. I asked if he did not trust me. I said it like he was the problem. He paused, then he asked why I got defensive. He asked if I was hiding something. I said no. I said he was acting paranoid. I said his lack of education made him insecure around strong people, and now he was doing it to me too. The words came out before I could shape them. I felt proud that I could hurt him with one line. I told myself that if he felt pain, maybe he would finally change. He did not raise his voice. He said he just wanted honesty. He said he did not want to fight. Then he ended the call, polite, like he was ending a work meeting. That made me angry. It felt like he refused to play the role I had prepared for him. After my shift, I went to the gym. I told Evan I would be home late because I had extra work. I did not even feel a stab of guilt. I felt like I was building a separate life, and it belonged to me. At the gym lobby, the air smelled like rubber mats and clean towels. People walked past with headphones, focused on themselves. I liked that. Nobody cared about anyone else's marriage there. Logan was waiting by the smoothie counter. He did not touch me in a way that would draw attention. He just leaned in close and spoke softly. He asked if Evan had noticed anything. I said Evan was suspicious because he was insecure. I said he always needed proof before he believed his own eyes. Logan smiled like that made him respect me more. He asked why I stayed married if I felt so above it. I said I stayed for stability. I said Evan was good with the kids and good with bills. I said I deserved passion too, like it was a normal request. Logan said he understood. He said I should not feel guilty for wanting a bigger life. I let his words settle in me like medicine. When I got home, Evan was in the living room with the kids. Owen was showing him something on a tablet. Nora sat with her head on Evan's shoulder. I walked in and saw how they leaned toward him, not me. For a moment, I felt jealous of my own children. Evan asked if I had a good workout. I said yes. He asked what I did. I said treadmill and stretching. It was a lie, but an easy one. He nodded, like he was filing my answer somewhere. At bedtime, Owen asked why we did not eat together anymore. He said it felt weird. I told him Dad was just busy. I told him grown-ups had stress. I told him everything was fine. Owen looked at Evan, then looked back at me. Evan did not correct me. He simply told Owen good night and turned off the light. After the kids were asleep, Evan asked if we could go for a walk. He said he wanted air. I agreed because I did not want to look guilty at home. We drove to the riverside promenade, the one with benches and soft lamps. The river looked dark, and the wind felt sharp on my face. Evan walked beside me, hands in his pockets. He asked if I respected him. He asked it in a flat voice, like he already knew the answer. I laughed once, too loud. I said, of course I respected him. I said he had a good job and he provided. Then I added that respect was earned, and that sometimes it was hard when someone refused to finish what they started, like school. I said it like I was teaching him again. He stopped walking. He looked at me for a long moment. He asked why I liked making him small. I said I did not. I said he was imagining it. I said he always chose the worst meaning because he had a victim mindset. I told him he should be grateful I pushed him. I told him other women would not bother. He kept his face calm, but his eyes looked tired. He said he did not want to talk in circles. He asked if there was someone else. My throat tightened, but I lifted my chin. I said no. I said he was being controlling. I said he was trying to trap me with questions. He did not argue. He took out his phone and set it on a bench beside him for a second. I heard a soft beep, like a small startup sound. It could have been anything. A notification, a battery warning, but it made my skin go cold. He picked the phone up again and said we should go home because it was late. He said it like a decision, not a request. In the car, he drove steady and silent. At home, while I brushed my teeth, I saw his contact list on the shared tablet in the bathroom. A new contact showed up at the top with only an emoji as the name. No words. just a symbol. I stared at it, then I heard Evan's steps behind me, and I quickly closed the screen. I told myself he was being strange to scare me. I told myself it was unfair. I also told myself I could handle anything because I was the smarter one in this marriage. But when the bedroom door closed and the lock clicked softly, I realized I was not the only one keeping secrets anymore. The invitation to Evan's company dinner sat on the counter like a dare. He told me it was a team celebration. He said a few leaders would be there. He asked if I could come because partners were invited. He said it in a careful way, like he expected me to say no. I did not say no. I said I would go. I told myself it was a chance to be seen. I told myself it was also a chance to remind everyone that Evan's place in that world was not fully earned. I knew that thought was ugly, but I dressed it up as truth. I told myself I was only keeping him humble. On the day of the dinner, Evan came home earlier than usual. He showered right away and put on a shirt I had bought him. He looked good in a simple way. That bothered me more than it should have. When someone looks good, you cannot blame their failure on their appearance. You have to blame something else. In the bedroom, I noticed a folder on the dresser with a plain label, household. It was not there before. I asked him what it was. He said it was nothing important and he was just organizing. He said it like a routine answer. He did not look nervous. He did not look angry. That calm made me feel like I was the only person who did not know the plan. We drove to the restaurant downtown. It was the kind of place with soft lighting and cloth napkins. The hostess greeted Evan by name. That stung. Evan was known there. He belonged more than I wanted to admit. At the long table, people stood and shook hands. Evan introduced me. He said my name with a steady voice. I watched his coworkers' faces. Most of them looked polite. Some looked tired. A few looked sharp, like they judged everything. Dr. Priya Shah was there. When she saw me, her smile stayed controlled. She asked how the kids were doing. I said they were fine. I asked about her work in a tone that sounded interested, but I did not mean it. I wanted her to remember the supermarket moment because I wanted her to feel small for judging me. A man named Gavin Holt, Evan's director, joined the table. He talked about the team's growth and deadlines. He had an easy laugh, but it felt practiced. Evan listened, nodding in the right places. Evan always knew how to act in rooms like that. I told myself it was because he copied other people, not because he had real skill. Wine glasses clinked. Plates came out. People asked Evan about a system upgrade he led. Someone praised him for keeping things stable during a crisis. Evan said he was grateful for the team. He did not brag. That also bothered me. Bragging would give me a reason to cut him down. Quiet confidence is harder to fight. I waited for a moment where everyone's attention was on me. When the conversation turned to education and careers, I stepped in. I said something about how impressive it was that everyone had real degrees. I said it with a smile, like I was admiring them. Then I added that Evan was different. I said he was a success story without the paper. I said he was proof you could still get a seat at the table if you worked hard enough. A few people laughed, not because it was funny, but because they did not know what else to do. I took that laughter as permission. I leaned closer and added that in our house, I was the one who had to explain things in simple terms. I said Evan was smart in his own way, but he could get lost when people used big words. I said it like a playful complaint. I felt powerful because I had made the whole table part of my joke. Evan's face changed. It did not twist. It just went still. He asked me, quietly, to stop. He said we could talk later. He did not say it with anger. He said it like a boundary. That boundary made me want to break it. I asked him, in a light voice, why he was so serious. I said everyone was just having fun. I said it was not my fault if he felt insecure. I said he should be proud that he made it this far without finishing school. I watched Priya's eyes drop to her plate. I watched Gavin's smile freeze for half a second. Someone tried to shift the topic to travel. I pulled it back. I told a story about Evan taking online courses at night and how he would get frustrated and ask me to explain things. I said it like I had carried him on my back. I left out the part where Evan had taught himself most of it and only asked me for quick help. I left out the part where he had supported me during my own hard times. In my version, he was the learner and I was the teacher. In my version, I was the one who deserved credit. Evan looked at his hands. He placed his fork down. He asked me again to stop. He said I was embarrassing him. He said he did not do this to me. I told him he was overreacting. I said he always made me the bad guy. I said if he could not take a joke, maybe he did not belong in rooms like this. I said it as if I was protecting him from bigger shame. I told myself I was being honest. I told myself I was helping him learn his place. The table grew quiet. Even the people who liked to talk had nothing to say. The only sounds were dishes and the soft music. Then someone said it was time for a toast. Phones came out for photos. People stood closer together. Evan's coworker asked for a group picture with partners. I stepped in front, smiling wide. I lifted my glass higher than everyone else. I made one more comment, louder than before, about how Evan was lucky he married someone who could translate the world for him. I said he should thank me for upgrading his life. I expected a laugh. I wanted the room to agree with me, but the laugh did not come the way I wanted. It came thin and scattered. Priya did not laugh at all. Gavin looked at Evan and then looked away. Evan set his glass down. He told everyone calmly that he had an early morning. He thanked Gavin for the dinner. He told Priya it was good to see her. He did not blame me in front of them. He did not raise his voice. He did not storm out. He just stood, paid the check with a steady hand, and walked away from the table like a man leaving a meeting. I followed him outside, angry that he had not exploded. In the parking area, I asked why he was acting like I had attacked him. I said he was humiliating me by leaving early. I said he was making me look bad to his colleagues. He did not argue. He asked why I needed to hurt him in public. He asked if I enjoyed it. He said he could not understand it anymore. I told him he was twisting things. I said he was trying to control how I spoke. I said he wanted me to shrink so he could feel big. I blamed him fast, because blame is easier than shame. We drove to a rooftop bar nearby because I did not want to go home yet. I told him we needed to reset in public so it would not look like a fight. Evan sat with a water and stared at the city lights. I ordered something sweet and strong. I watched his face and waited for him to break. He asked in a low voice if there was someone else. He asked if that was why I was so cruel. I felt my throat tighten, but I smiled like he was being silly. I said no. I said he was being dramatic again. I said he should focus on work, not on chasing shadows. Evan nodded once, like he had heard enough. He took out his phone and looked at the screen. I saw a quick flash of a thread named follow-up. I could not see more than that. He turned the phone face down on the table and sat very still. On the drive home, he kept both hands on the wheel. He did not say anything. When we walked into the house, he went straight to the closet. He did not slam doors. He did not throw things. He simply made the space on his side look neat, like he was measuring what belonged where and what did not. The day after the dinner, I woke up and checked my phone before I even sat up. I wanted to see if anyone had liked my post from the restaurant. I wanted proof that my joke landed. I told myself that if people laughed, it meant I was right. The likes were there, but not as many as I expected. Some of Evan's coworkers did not react at all. Priya did not react. That bothered me. Evan was already out of the bedroom. When I walked into the kitchen, he was packing the kids' bags. He asked if I could do school pickup later. I said yes, but I said it like he owed me thanks. He nodded once. He did not argue. His calm felt like a wall. On the way to work, I tried to replay the dinner in my head, but I kept seeing Evan's face when he told me to stop. I told myself he was being dramatic. I told myself I had to protect my status. I told myself a husband should not be so fragile. At the clinic, I was sharp with everyone. A coworker asked if I was okay. I said I was fine. Logan texted and asked how my big night with the smart people went. I answered that it went great. I told him Evan got moody, like always. Logan replied with a laughing emoji and said Evan sounded small. I felt a quick comfort. I liked when someone agreed with my version. After work, I went to the school pickup line. The sun was low, and cars crawled forward like a slow train. I saw a parent I knew from Owen's class. She waved and asked how Evan was doing after his big dinner. Her tone was casual, but it felt like a test. I smiled and said Evan was fine. Then, without thinking, I added that he always acted tense around real academics because he did not finish college. I said it like a fun fact. The parent's smile turned tight. She said Evan seemed nice and helpful. She looked past me, like she wanted the line to move. I felt annoyed again. Why did people defend him? Why did they not see the joke the way I saw it? Owen and Nora got into the car. Owen asked if Dad would come to the park later. I said maybe. Nora asked why Dad was quiet at breakfast. I told her Dad had work stress. I said it like I was protecting them, but I was also shaping them. I wanted them to see Evan as the one with the problem, not me. We went to the playground because I did not want to go home yet. Home felt tense now. At the playground, Owen ran to the swings. Nora followed a group of kids toward the slide. Evan arrived a little later. He did not greet me with a kiss. He greeted the kids first. He asked Owen about school. He asked Nora if she had a snack. He acted normal, which made me feel like I was losing control of the story. I walked beside him and asked why he was ignoring me. He said he was not ignoring me. He said he was keeping things calm for the kids. I said he was being cold on purpose. I said he was punishing me because I spoke my mind. He did not react. He looked at the kids and said we should talk later, not here. That later felt like a threat, even though it was not loud. I wanted him to snap. I wanted him to give me something I could point to, but he stayed steady. When we left the playground, I noticed his car parked in a way I had not seen before. It was pointed toward the street, ready to go. It looked like a car that wanted to escape. I asked if he had somewhere to be. He said he had errands. I asked what errands. He said normal ones. The word normal made me angry. At home, I tried to reset the mood by acting cheerful. I asked Evan what he wanted for dinner. He said anything was fine. I asked if he was still upset about the dinner. He said it was not about one dinner. He said it was about a pattern. I said he was exaggerating. I said he always chose the worst meaning of my words. In the evening, we drove to his parents' house for dinner. Evan's mother, Diane, greeted the kids with hugs. Evan's father, Tom, asked Evan about work. They were polite to me, but I could feel a distance. It was like they were watching me more closely than before. At the dining table, Diane asked how the company dinner went. I said it was nice. I said Evan was respected, and then I added that it was impressive he got there without a degree. I smiled like it was a compliment. Diane did not smile back. She asked quietly why I kept bringing that up. I said it was just the truth. I said Evan should not be ashamed of it. I said I was proud of him, even if he was sensitive. Evan asked me to stop. He said it was not funny. I said I was not trying to be funny. I said he was making it weird again. I said he always tried to control my words. Diane asked if everything was okay at home. I said yes. Then I said Evan had been acting distant and strange. I hinted that he was hiding things. I watched Tom's eyes move to Evan's face. I wanted them to doubt him. I wanted them on my side. Evan stayed calm. He said he was fine. He said he was focused on the kids and routine. Diane looked at him like she believed him. That made my throat tighten. After dinner, while the kids played with toys in the living room, my sister Renee called me. I stepped into the hallway. She asked if I had a minute. I said yes, but I sounded annoyed. She asked why Logan kept leaving comments on my posts. She asked why his tone looked personal. I said she was reading too much into it. She said she had a screenshot. She said it looked like an affair. I told her she was dramatic. I told her she loved to judge me. I said she always wanted to feel better than me. Renee said she did not care about feeling better. She said she cared about the kids. She said if I was doing something wrong, I needed to stop before it exploded. I ended the call fast. I did not want warnings. I wanted applause. When we got back home, the kids went to bed. Evan walked past me without touching me. I followed him down the hall and asked if he had told his parents lies about me. He said he did not need to tell lies. He said my words were enough. I said he was twisting things again. Later, I woke up thirsty and walked toward the kitchen. The house was dark. I smelled something faint, like toner or hot plastic. Then I heard a low hum, like a shredder running for a few seconds. I froze in the hallway. The sound stopped. A drawer clicked softly somewhere. I stood there with a dry mouth and told myself I was imagining it. When I went back to bed, Evan was turned away from me. His phone was face down on the nightstand. I stared at his shoulder and felt a sudden fear that did not match my pride. I told myself I still had time to fix the story. I told myself I could still make him look like the problem. But even in the dark, I could not ignore how quiet he had become, like a man saving every word for later. By Friday, I could feel the ground shifting under me, even though I kept telling myself I was in control. Evan moved through the house like a quiet worker. He did not slam doors. He did not insult me. He did not beg. That was the worst part. I could not point at anything and say he was cruel. I could only feel his distance, and I hated it. In the morning, I found him in the garage. The door was halfway open, and cold air came in. He stood near a small stack of boxes. They were plain, no labels I could see. He was wiping down the inside of his car, like it mattered. I asked what he was doing. He said he was cleaning. I asked why now. He said he had time. I told him he was acting strange. He asked what I meant. I said he was staging a performance, like a sad husband story. He did not answer that. He asked if I planned to keep mocking him in front of people. I said it was not mocking. I said it was truth. I said he should not be ashamed of his education level. I said I was proud of him. And I smiled like that made it kind. He looked at me and asked why my pride always sounded like a blade. I laughed once and said he was being dramatic again. I told him if he wanted respect, he should earn it. I said respect follows results. And I had results. I said it like a rule of life. He picked up his keys, and I noticed something new on the ring. A key I had not seen before. I asked what it was for. He said it was for storage. I asked what storage. He said it was personal. The word personal hit me like a slap, because it used to be my word. I told myself he was trying to copy me to get power back. At the clinic, my focus fell apart. I kept checking my phone. Logan had not replied to my last message. I sent another one. I asked if he was coming by today. I added a joke about how I needed adult talk, not homework talk. I expected him to laugh. He did not. When he finally replied, it was short. He said he was busy. He said he had a lot going on. I asked what was wrong. He said nothing. I told him he was acting different. He said I was the one who was married, and he did not want drama. That sentence made heat rise in my face. I told myself he was being unfair. I told myself he used me for excitement and now he wanted to look clean. I typed that he was not special, and I could find attention anywhere. I did not send it. I deleted it and wrote something softer, because I needed him still. I asked if we could meet for 10 minutes after my shift just to talk. He said he would see. I spent the rest of my day feeling trapped between two fears. One fear was Evan leaving. The other fear was Logan leaving first. I told myself I deserved better than both of them, but that thought did not calm me the way it used to. After work, I drove home, and I tried to plan a fight. That sounds ugly, but it was true. A fight would give me a reason to call my mother and cry. A fight would give me a reason to tell Renee that Evan was scary in a legal way without saying the word. A fight would give me a story. When I walked in, Evan was at the kitchen table with a laptop open. The screen showed a spreadsheet. I could see rows and dates, but no title. He clicked it closed when I stepped closer. I asked what it was. He said it was just tracking things. I asked what things. He said household stuff. His tone was flat, like he had practiced it. I said he was being petty. He asked why I thought planning was petty. I said because he was doing it to punish me. He asked what he had done that was punishment. I had no clear answer. I said his silence was punishment. I said his calm was punishment. I said he was trying to make me feel crazy. He looked at me for a long moment. He asked why I always needed him to look bad. I said I did not. I said he was twisting it again. I said he was gaslighting me, because that word felt strong in my mouth like armor. He did not react to it. The kids ran in from the living room. Owen asked if we could go get ice cream. Nora asked if Dad would push her on the swing tomorrow. Evan said yes to Nora in a warm voice. That warmth, aimed at her and not at me, made my chest burn. After dinner, I tried a new tactic. I told Evan I felt lonely. I said I felt unseen. I said he had stopped trying. I said I needed romance like normal wives. I waited for him to apologize. I waited for him to say he would change. Instead, he asked when I started thinking romance meant humiliating him. He asked when love turned into a contest. I said he was making it about himself. I said I had needs too. I said he always made me feel like I asked for too much. I watched his face, searching for anger. He stayed calm. He said we would not talk like this in front of the kids. I said the kids were asleep. He said he still would not do it. He said he would not shout. He said he would not beg. That refusal made me desperate. I told him I could tell people he was unstable. I said I could tell his boss he was failing at home. I said I could post the truth. I wanted him to flinch. I wanted him to raise his voice so I could point and say, "See?" He did not flinch. He asked if I really wanted to hurt him more. I said he deserved it for acting cold. I said he had forced me into this. I said if I had looked elsewhere for comfort, it was because he did not give it. I did not say Logan's name, but I said enough. I watched Evan's eyes change, not rage, something colder, like a door closing. I heard a soft sound from his phone, an alarm. It read, "Paper drop," when the screen lit up for a second. I pretended I did not see it, but my stomach tightened. Evan picked up the phone and turned the alarm off. He did it slowly, like he had time. I asked what paper drop meant. He said it was a reminder. I asked for what? He said for errands. I said he was hiding things. He said I was projecting. That word made me feel exposed. I snapped that he learned big words to sound smarter than he was. I told him it would not work on me. He stood up and walked to the hallway. I followed him, because I could not stand him leaving the room like that. I asked where he was going. He said to check on the kids. I said he was acting like I was dangerous. He said he was acting like a father. In the kids' doorway, he looked at Owen and Nora sleeping. He stayed there for a moment. Then he turned to me and spoke in a low, even voice. He said he was done arguing. He said he would not fight for attention or approval. He said he would handle everything properly. My hands shook in the office tower lobby when the woman in a badge asked my name. I confirmed it, still smiling. She said she had documents for me and placed them in my hands while security watched. Evan stood a few steps back, calm, with his mother beside him. I said this was cruel. He said he would only talk about the kids and schedules. I skimmed the first page and saw temporary orders, a parenting plan starting